Over the past 20 years, developer Piranha Bytes has been responsible for 3 major IPs, Gothic, Ryzen, and Elex. Gothic went on to develop a cult following, while Ryzen and Elex have maintained their own fandoms. Piranha Bytes games are arguably an acquired taste, as they embrace and truly define the Eurojank subgenre. While many give Eurojank negative connotations, it's simply not true. These games are often described as super ambitious and only lack the extra polish and budget of big AAA titles. The original Elex was divisive, to say the least. The Elex world is a curious mixture of post-apocalyptic sci-fi and medieval fantasy, Mad Max and Kingdoms of Amalur. In Elex II you play Jax, the same gruff, bald warrior man as last time. In the previous game, you united 3 thematically opposed warring factions against a common enemy, and thank God a mysterious bunch of aliens have now appeared to threaten that frail peace, or Jax would have no reason to do the same thing again in this game. 6 years after the events of the first game, Commander Jax has gone from war hero to neglected Doom Slayer. The factions of Elex II do not care about the threat from the sky and instead engage in petty land grabs and small-scale skirmishes. The game begins when this threat Jax has been warning the world of arrives, and still very few seem to look beyond the petty squabbles. For the first chapter, Elex II's story basically lays out everything players need to do to prepare for the Skyand invasion, the aliens the hybrid warned of in the first game, and has players go out into Magalan, prepared to battle against the aliens. Equipped with a trusty lead pipe, we managed to build a new operating base for our emerging faction, the 6th power, meet old allies and enemies, make new ones, and visit each of the factions in Magalan. Indeed, the power dynamic has changed incredibly from the first game. The elves are still powerful, but they are not antagonistic. They are also embracing new ways of life after Jax defeated the hybrid. The clerics, on the other hand, are a shell of what they once were, paying the biggest price as a result of the past war. The berserkers have taken over outlaw land and are terraforming it with their magic, while the outlaws find themselves bunkered down in a new city in a crater. Elex II also introduces a new faction, the Morkans, a tribe of underground dwellers with strict rules, harsh ways, and who worship a god of destruction. Suffice it to say, engaging with the politics of each faction, learning more about the new enemy Skyans, seeing the changed world of Magalan, meeting the companions, and all the other things Elex II has to offer was an absolute blast. Piranha Bytes set out to make Magalan a more living world, instead of upping the size of the open world format, and it absolutely works. Elex II shines in its presentation of the world, the invasion, and the potential consequences, and it does so with a new focus on destruction, or the player's destructive tendencies. In the first game, it was a split between the cold logic of the elves or the emotions of the free people for Jax, but now it seems to focus on how hateful, heartless, destructive, and murderous players are feeling. Aside from that, it has an array of standard RPG features, attributes, skills, companions, and more. Attributes are based on strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, and cunning that determine weapon usage, conversation choices, and so on. Skills require players to invest earned skill points, money, and other requirements to level up, all through the conduit of a trainer who is luckily marked on the Elex II map. The gameplay and quests are pretty standard fare in format. It's an open-world game with no limits. Players can go just about anywhere they want, especially with the help of their jetpack, but they'll need to be wary about stumbling into a powerful enemy. Some quests require players to fetch items, escort characters, or kill limited number of enemies, but for every basic quest, there's a unique one. Overall, it was a wild ride that brought out the best of open-world games. Of course, there's the general lack of Polish fans can expect from the genre in Elex II. Some of the combat and movement animations are a bit awkward, set pieces and open-world items like mountains have a general lack of definition, but overall, it's all very nitpicky things. Elex II very much feels like a AAA title through the scope of an older computer game. These technical issues occurred far less compared to Skyrim's bugs, and that's what stands out. Elex II is an open-world structure best compared to the post-apocalyptic nature of Fallout, the open-world elements and environments of Skyrim, and maybe even with a dash of the sci-fi elements shown off for Starfield so far, but it is not as polished. Still, it manages to be less buggy in comparison even for a Eurojank title. Elex II releases for PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S on March 1, 2022. So what's your thoughts on this new presentation, open world RPG game from Piranha Bytes Studios? Leave a like and comment below. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more contents here.